I'm Shanika.
I'm Kimber.
And we're going to start our show as we always do with our deal breaker. Ready, ladies?
Ready.
Yes. So the deal breaker this week is you're in a relationship. Perfect guy. You're just really happy about the situation. You're on a date and you excuse yourself. You go to the bathroom. And on your way back, you run into a guy in a restaurant. And he is, of course, he's trying to speak to you and talk with you. And he asks you, like, are you in a relationship? And you're like, yes, I'm committed. And you let him know, like, you're not available. And you go sit down. And on his way out of the restaurant, he drops his number, gives you his number. He says, hey, I would love to talk to you again. Call me. And he walks off. And the guy you're with doesn't do anything. Is that a deal breaker?
Absolutely.
That's a deal breaker?
Yeah. What?
Is that a deal breaker, Nikki?
Yeah, I'd be a little disappointed that he didn't say anything.
No, because I think if that's the perfect guy, he's a thinker. He's probably going to want to kind of pay attention to me to see how I'm going to react. Because how far are we into the relationship? Like, are we
y'all are pretty good. No, y'all
committed.
Y'all committed.
Yeah. I think that he would probably, I would want him to take that as like, this is like the first thing that comes up in our relationship to see how we both want to handle it. So no, that wouldn't be a deal breaker for me. I'm sticking with it.
And I agree with Shanae.
Yeah.
You know, I believe that he may want to see how I react, and you know, that happened to me actually for real.
Okay. All right.
Yes, it did.
And what happened?
And the person react really quickly and say, oh, who is that? You know, who is that person? And I said, someone who just, you know, dropped the number, and I just picked it up. Didn't know, you know, what it was, but he did ask me a couple of questions. I did mention to him that I was with you.
Okay.
I don't know one guy, family member, friend, people of my past that would have went for that, honestly.
Okay.
I really don't. I don't know. That wouldn't have at least asked well, who is that? If he just sat there, that would be just, I don't know, that would be a little off-putting for me.
Okay.
But hold up, Karen didn't say he didn't.
No, he didn't do anything.
Yeah, she said he didn't do anything.
But is he's gonna say something to you or something?
No, he didn't do anything.
He didn't do
Well,
anything.
So he didn't say anything to the guy. He didn't say anything in that moment. Like the guy did it and he walked off.
Right.
Now, I don't think he should have said anything to the guy, but he needs to ask me a question or have a disturbance with that situation happening. Because the way the guy did it, I would think that he was being disrespectful. He said, nice talking to you. Give me a call. You know, I like to talk to you more, whatever.
And then he passes.
Yeah, so he tried to be disrespectful. So it's up to my dude to say, what's up with that? Or who's that? Or, you know, if we're committed, you should say something, not nothing.
Okay.
So yeah, that would be a little, I won't say it's a deal breaker, but we need to have some conversations. Like, why weren't you, you know, that's a little too subdued for me. You don't have to be super alpha man, but you have to, you know, show that you have concern or care about me. If somebody else dropping in number saying, I look forward to talking to you soon, and you know.
How about you?
Well, so for me, it wouldn't be a deal breaker, but I would feel like he can't protect me.
Right.
I would feel like he's not. I would feel like he's a guy that is not confrontational. He's not going to stand up, right, in that moment as a man. So I would just roll it up as he's not a fighter.
I wouldn't say, but you know what?
Right.
I would say that.
No.
I wouldn't want
But listen, but listen, he doesn't need to be confrontational. You would think that he's just not a protector. He's
Right.
not a strong personality guy.
Correct.
Yeah, you don't have to be confrontational.
I'm with Shanae. I don't feel as though, you know, he would not protect me at all, because I feel as though if you don't know who's out here, and that person could have had a gun and just shot both of us.
Right.
You know, I just don't feel that way.
No, I don't think he should have said anything to the guy.
Right.
He should have asked me, babe, who's that? Or
It happened
wait,
to
you
me.
introduce me to your
and
friend or something like that.
Well, it happened to me, and that person, I was actually, you know, dating at that time asked me, I didn't,
Oh.
Okay.
But
feel.
Well, let's ask.
just go off in your comment. You said I feel as though like he's not a protector. To me, then in my mind, as soon as that went that he's not a protector, then I would not. That'll be a deal breaker for me.
Here's
Not that I expect for him to chase the guy down and be like, oh, he
Right.
don't say anything to him. But as soon as you said, oh, I feel as though he's not a protector, I think that most women want men that are protectors and that can stand up for them. So when you said that, the first thing I said, why would you want to date him?
Well, because people have more than one quality. So I think that, like, if I know I'm with somebody who's just not going to fight or just not going to be in that situation, I already know that. So I can kind of prepare, okay, he's not the kind of guy that's going to be a fighter. But
I wouldn't have the respect for him in a relationship, honestly.
It depends on what else.
You really.
I mean,
So Kim,
What?
Tell me. What would you had done? What do you want him to do?
Right.
Ask me, babe. Who's that?
Or
Or
here's how I feel about it.
say something.
Like, here's the thing. I feel like this is just me personally, but it depends on how he would have to be very, very, very calm in how he's asking me. Because don't come at me.
No, that's true
don't
too.
come at me asking me questions.
Yeah, like I
and
asked
you
for the
was
phone
like-
number. Yeah,
Yeah, you was like,
it's a
quiet when
balance
the dude
there.
was
It has
here,
to be a
right?
balance there. Yeah.
So like, you might as well not say anything to me at all because
Mhm.
you didn't say anything to this guy who was disrespecting you. Like, for a man to, like, no, because asking me a question, it's not like, if this was an old friend of mine, whatever, that person would have showed him respect and said, hey man, how you doing, whatever, da-da-da-da-da, right? He would have spoken to that guy and showed him some respect, right? But for you to just, like, basically showed it, like, do that, like,
Yeah, no, I feel
basically
you.
disrespecting that man, and that man is not going to stand up for himself. Now, at the end of the day, I'm saying it might not be a deal breaker because he could have a lot of other great qualities, and I would just know.
Mhm.
Listen,
But me and
girl,
Nikki
he is
gonna
not
bring it
gonna
up.
Fight.
Me and Nikki gonna bring it up in a later argument. I'm just
Right.
saying that's what's gonna happen. Me and Nikki gonna bring it up in a future argument. Like, don't come at me like that, sweetheart, because
But I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna not talk to you anymore. I'm just gonna know you're not a fighter.
but that's
right?
but that's for me. That makes me have less respect.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Well, I don't know if I would have less respect as long as he didn't go around pretending as if he was about that life. Now, if he's walking around, I'm not saying like a punk or nothing like that, but as long as he's not,
It's kind of.
I mean, it is, but as long as he's not out here like portraying like I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, then I can be okay with if I can't think back on anything that made me feel as though he portrayed himself to be that kind of guy, I could be okay with that. But if he was walking around like Tough Tony and that happened, then I would be like, you know what, I don't have any respect for this guy, right? And then it would depend, because if that was a female, right, that walked up to him, I don't know who this female was. She could have went to school. It could be very harmless, but for her to be disrespectful,
Yeah.
that's the problem, So I don't know. I mean, you guys, it's like, how do you feel about it as a man?
You know what I would have done, honestly? I would have been like, wait, no, you can take this. I would have said that right in front of my man. Like, no, I don't need this. Like, because he was trying to make it seem like y'all were previously talking and, here's my number so we can continue this. No, I'm going to shut it down right in front of my man because I don't want no trouble in the car and on the ride home. You know what I mean?
This is the perfect guy, right? So
what is that, though? What is the perfect
Up
guy?
until this point, when you see that,
right,
I'm thinking about that life.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause the arguments-
how he acts, how he conduct himself. So if that happens, he's going to give a look. He don't even have to say anything.
No, perfect guy up until this point, you're thinking he's a perfect guy. So, like, you're really liking him up until you see this happen. So
It's just giving me too much ammunition for arguments, okay? It's just giving me too much ammunition for future arguments. I'm like, don't come at me like that.
I'm going to explain to him what happened. Like, he don't even have to say anything. His presence, he going to
Exactly.
look like,
Right.
what the f was that?
Yeah.
And I'm going to explain
But you
to him.
don't.
But she said he
you don't
did
think that
nothing. He did
That he
nothing.
should demand respect from another
And his
guy.
presence is going to be like, what was that? And then I'm going to tell him, like, look, he ran into me in the bathroom, but I don't think he's a punk.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
just
think
saying.
he's-
I'm just saying. I don't know any.
But he was blatantly being disrespectful
Yes.
because she told him she's in a committed relationship.
Yes.
So that was him trying to,
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway,
I feel like
But a lot of
that's a
men-
man trying to show up another man, like to say, listen, I don't care what you say, I'm gonna show you that I'm gonna do what I want to do. he's really doing that to basically disrespect the guy.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you did that, if you were out and you saw a guy that, you know, was handsome or you were interested in whatever, and you walked up to him and gave him your phone number in front of another female he's sitting there with, like, you're basically saying, who gonna check me? You know what I'm saying? Not to say that you would do that, but it's kind of like,
I'm curious what the guys want to say.
Okay. Does any guys want to respond to that if that situation happened? Does any guys that want to respond? Because we do have some males in our audience today.
Quite a few, actually.
I think I'll take a stab at it.
Okay.
I would, you know, based off of that, it's in the man's world, sometimes it's mental chess. So in a mental chess move, like, I would say it as, okay, I feel honored. Hey, you know, you like my girl, whatever. You may have dropped a number or whatever. At that moment, if you caught me off guard, you know, I wouldn't have to do anything or say anything. And for her, she would offer that. She should be willing to offer that information up, right? To me, saying, "Hey, this is such and such."
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree that he shouldn't have said anything to the guy because that's confrontational.
And also, too, is trying to, you know, take me off my square. Yeah. So whereas though it's going to, you know, reflect into our relationship and it's causing disturbance. Whereas though, hey, I'm now arguing with my girl. Hey, who's this? Da, da, da. No, you know, hey, I'm gonna play it cool. You know, okay. You know, she tell me who it was. Okay, you know. Let's focus on getting back to, you know, raising our kingdom, getting, you know, strengthening ourselves and stuff like that. That's just a distraction right there. You know what I'm saying? He wants what I have, you know what I mean? Yeah. Hey, you know, but if I was on my square, you know, if it did catch me off guard and, hey, bro, that's all me. Thank you, but that's all me at the table. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But, and that's cool right there.
You would say that?
But
yeah, I'm like I said, it depends on the situation. If I'm ready for it, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it'll catch you off guard, whereas though, like, whoa, I didn't see it. You know, I might have had bad.
Yeah, that's good.
At that point, you know, like I said, I'll take it easy, you know.
Yeah, the issue is that she said he said or did nothing.
You want to say anything?
No, because I prepared it. I'm in another zone. Like, once you do that, you know what I'm saying? It ain't no business deal with me and songs you can get out of it. Because if I see you coming and I think it's gonna be good business, I'll be like, yeah, go ahead. But if it's no business and I know you about to disrespect me, I'm just gonna look. I don't. She don't gotta explain nothing to me because I'm too confident. I don't really care about what's going on.
Exactly.
Right. But I'm preparing to kill, so I'm not saying anything. Because if he's that bold. Yeah. That means that you might have a gun or something. So I can't say nothing that you might kill my woman. Exactly. You know, so I got to make sure that everything is square. And then I'm backing up off you because I know that what I'm going to do, I'm going to jail. I'm never coming back. It's over. My family is, everything is done.
Right. Yeah, I agree with theory. That's what I said.
All right. All right. I mean, I don't know. Like,
you're back to differ.
I mean, I personally, I think that there's an element of fear because I've dated some real ones, right? I mean, you're not going to walk away, but did I like the confrontation that he always brought? No, because it made me fear for his life and my life as well. However, I think that does show an element of fear, right? Because I feel like you worrying about, does he have a gun? Is he going to shoot me? All those things are elements of fear.
He's going to shoot her.
Shoot, well, whatever. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm just saying that's an element of fear. But I feel like, do I want as a woman him to be confrontational? No, I don't. I don't want him to be so it's a tricky kind of situation. But I would think that this man does have some fear. He's not going to react quickly to a situation. And it would not be a deal breaker. I just would feel like, you know, hi. Oh, somebody want to say something?
You're supposed to say something to him immediately.
Absolutely.
Immediately. I don't care. Like, you can't sit there. You know what I mean? You gotta get up because he act like you're invisible.
Right.
You gotta get up and say something.
Yes.
Right. So you gotta approach him.
The guy.
You got
it wasn't the girl's fault.
Right.
No, it wasn't her fault.
Right.
Yeah.
So you gotta immediately
check the situation. Okay. That's interesting.
But that's
that's interesting. You don't think
so? Is he winning that war? Whereas though he wanted that reaction, you know, sometimes they could be baiting you. You know what I mean? And getting that reaction out of you to whereas though you immediately saying something.
That's why I said that as if it happened to me, I would be like, no, boo, come get your number. No, thank you. Like I would. you know.
I mean, like I said, your relationship tight and your woman, you know, she's gonna shut it down. Yeah, it's gonna be shut down, you know, before it even gets.
You ain't kids, you're gonna have not kid consequences. Mm-hmm. So that means that you don't know what the scenario is, right? So you gotta be a thinker. This ain't about your ego. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's about a thinking. This ain't about whether you scared of him or not, because if you got a release on him, it's no going back. You know, it's no going back. You know, so
and you would have a brother that's just like what you said, that is confrontational on anything, disrespecting. Boom, he's saying something. But he got to a point where his wife like, I can't take him nowhere because I'm afraid that what's going to go down. And it got to a point where like, look, you know, so do you want that? You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, again, like, but I know this.
But don't not say nothing to me or him or nobody.
Come on, say something.
I was going to say personally, I feel like their whole action not even as bold as everybody's making it seem to me. Because I mean, if you really want to be bold and disrespectful, then you will say something when you walk up to the table, not just slide a little note on the side.
Well, he did. He said, "Give me a call so we can continue the conversation." Like making it seem like we had previous communication. Yeah, he was trying to. Yeah, that's it.
The dynamics has changed now a little bit.
So would you say something at that moment to the guy?
I would take the call. I'd say, "She don't need this."
Oh, good. Okay. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There you go.
I feel like the man has to say something, because now listen, if he doesn't, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to see him anymore. It just means that I know that he is fearful of other men, and if he has other I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to be funny. I just feel like my perception would be that he's fearful of other men. And that I'm not saying he will never fight, but his initial response is not going to be to stand up and to fight. But if he has other great qualities and attributes and he makes me happy in other ways, I may continue to see him. I don't think it's my place to tell that man, I don't need this. I've already told the man, and if the guy doesn't say anything at all, please don't say anything to me in the car. Because you didn't say anything to that grown man that was just disrespecting you. So if you want to go by the trust and you trust me, then you trust me. I'm going to leave the number right there. I'm not going to, whatever. But don't question me because you didn't question that grown man. So that's how I feel about it. But it doesn't mean that I'm going to... It's not a deal breaker. It just shows me that he's fearful of men.
Let me ask you, can I change the dynamics a little bit? What if your man is like a professional boxer or ex-boxer or a martial artist, where he's a lethal weapon and he could be charged, whereas though it's better to just not, say anything at that moment, because even if it does, if it escalates, he know.
And that happens in those situations.
I know that. Hey, me going this it's going to escalate, and I'm gonna kill this man. At the end of the day. So, hey, I'm confident and within myself, within my skin, that I can just, Yeah,
I agree with not saying anything to the man, but at least say, babe, who was that? Or you didn't introduce me to your friend or something.
Listen, it's a tricky situation because of the world that we live in.
Yeah.
Right? But I do think that all those are elements of fear. Right, I do. I think that when you start saying, well, I can't step and be a man because this may happen and that might happen and that might happen, those are elements of fear. You can be very respectful. You can keep it calm. You don't have to escalate. You don't have to jump up like, I'm going to fight you. But you can say something like, no, you can speak fast. It would just depend on how quickly. I thought the response that he gave was, she don't need that and take it.
Yeah,
that's that, like, you're not going to disrespect me, but I'm also not going to get, out of pocket here. I do think that a man has to stand up and say something, right? But if he doesn't, it's okay. Everybody's not a fighter. You know what I mean?
It's just sad that we're in a world where you can't say anything without thinking that it's immediately going to go to
escalate to
a confrontation or a fight or a shooting or stabbing or whatever.
If I'm talking, I ain't fighting. So that if you hear me start talking, I'm trying to de-escalate the situation. If I'm not talking, something is about to happen. Right?
I think that a man should have something in between. Right?
Yeah, some men. I mean, that's right. What I found out. Some men are talkers, but they are also taking action. So they're talking themselves, mentally into what they're getting ready to do. Some men are I'm just going to do it in silence. But I've been out with a man, and I was just like, oh my God, like, how do you know when he got in the back of his car? Like, please don't say nothing. Like, just shut up. And I'm just sitting there like, oh God, like, please, like you're putting us in a dangerous situation because it becomes uncomfortable when a man just wants to react all the time or never lets anything just slide. But if he, like you said, Kim, if he didn't say anything to me or he didn't question it, I wouldn't think that he's insecure or anything like that. I would just want him to say at least something or just have enough faith and confidence in me that he knows that that he can trust me, you know, that, hey, it didn't mean anything. This man was just, you know, out of pocket and, you know, we just want to continue our dinner, you know, but I do want some type of acknowledgement that the situation did take down or whatever.
Right. I mean, so this is the last thing I'm going to say. I just don't think that the guy that slipped the number is like really going to fight or kill over somebody he doesn't know. He's just disrespecting that guy. That's his whole intention, to disrespect that guy and to kind of show the woman like, let me just show you what kind of man I am against the man that you're already with, right? It's not really like, I'm going to shoot you over this girl. He doesn't know the girl, right? He wanted to say something.
Yeah. But that situation can change the dynamic in the house.
Yeah.
Because now, I didn't say nothing to that guy. Every time we get into an argument,
that's what I said.
Hey, yell at him.
Right. At least for the next month, it's ammunition in the argument.
Same energy with everybody. Like, it don't always gotta be super confrontational, but if you see him, so you say, this is how like, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. That's what I said. Men keep be using that, but like, you ain't had that same energy at the restaurant last night. Like, don't be.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that to them.
I would think women test men anyway. So I mean, for like honestly,
only us. They don't.
No, women do that. I really do think that every woman tests their man to make sure that they are.
I wouldn't test them in that way.
I don't what.
It's only one incident that I would not accept it. That I wouldn't accept it.
Not in that situation. I'm just talking about in general, not necessarily.
If he was drunk, okay, from our dinner that we were having, because we clearly was already at dinner before he came over, and it kind of he was thinking slower or moving slower. But at least say something to me like, hey, babe, who is that? You know, who is that guy? You know, you didn't introduce me, but yeah, I wouldn't want him to approach the guy because that is. Even though the guy was being disrespectful to him, I wouldn't want him to approach him, but at least ask me. But she's saying in her example that he said or did nothing that means to me or regarding me or the guy who dropped the number and said the words. But
so is that a deal breaker? We're going into that.
Look, it's some conversations.
I mean, I'm gonna be with my cousin. I'm gonna say, like, for real. I mean, to me, it'll be a deal breaker. Like if you just sat there and did not say anything. So yeah.
So it would not be a deal breaker.
But I don't know nobody that I personally don't know nobody that would not say nothing from family to my man to friend. You know, but only if he was a little tipsy and subdued from the wine at dinner.
So it wouldn't be a deal breaker for me, but it would show me his manhood, if put it like that.
What you say, Jonathan? Trey, what you say?
Not a deal breaker.
It's not a deal breaker for me as well.
What? A sip.
What is that?
Okay, so we're gonna move on to our continuing our topic we had last week. And last week we were talking about the new alpha. The new alpha male. And if anybody's not familiar with the new alpha male, what I'm talking about is those men that have a very large platform and they're out declaring that they're alpha men, and they are telling men to like basically not validate women, not compliment women, don't keep calling them, make the women chase you. They're trying to they're teaching men how to have women obsess over them. They're saying when you go out on a date, don't hold the door open. If you have sex with the woman, don't call her after that. Like, it's really like these men are like angry because they're like saying like these women are like, oh, gold diggers, like they're chasing like the bed and you gotta treat them a certain way. But that's not what so all of the men that are talking, even this one guy say, even if you have a wife, just compliment her every now and then. It's very sick. Yeah. And so I got an opportunity to tune into Don't Bust My Head, Coyoteman show. And one comment that he made, he talked about an alpha. And he said that an alpha is not good or bad. It's just a person that's in lead, right? And he used Hitler as an example. And so I'm going to pose this question, and we're going to take a short break. The question is, even if there's an alpha that's not good, and he's in leadership, is it the job of other men to step up and to stop that person from operating, or to step up and to say, this is not the way it should be. So we'll get back to that question right after this break.
Crossing all the lines to get to you, get to you. We were hard to find, from a dream to life, swimming in the blue. I'm falling in deeper than anything ever. You got me wrapped around you. I'm falling in deeper than anything ever. You got me wrapped around you. I'm falling in this river, it's carrying me home. This feeling is bigger than anything I've ever known. You sweep me up, sweep me up in your current. You sweep me up, sweep me up in your current. Crossing all the lines to get to you, get to you. We were hard to find, from a dream to life, swimming in the blue, in the blue. Where do we go? Where do we go? Where do we go from here? I'm falling in deeper. Where do we go from here?
Welcome back to She's Not Trendy. So we left off with the question of alpha men, like the men that are putting themselves out there as alpha men. They're self-declaring themselves as alpha men. And then they're saying to mistreat women. Don't value them, don't validate them, don't compliment them, don't hold a door, all of those things. Basically, and make the women chase after you. So, what do you ladies have to say about that? Well, first of all, we talked about last week what an alpha man is. So if anybody wants to say what they think an alpha man is, or what kind of man it doesn't have to be an alpha man, but what kind of man that you look for or you would consider to be a good man. Cam, first, you want to start?
A loving man, an honest man, a God-fearing man.
Okay.
Respectful.
Yeah, I was gonna say compassionate. A person that's compassionate. I'll also say a protector. I really do need someone that's strong and going to be able to feel as though they're going to be able to protect me. I mean, I just think that it just have to have a strong type presence about them, but an honest person, someone that's faithful. A little mischievous. I like a little man with a little mischievousness as well, and not too sensitive. So, yeah.
Do you think that, because we hear the word protector a lot, do you think only alpha men can be protectors?
No.
I don't think so.
I think it should be a natural, organic action of anyone that cares about you. Because protector doesn't just mean, oh, you're going to beat somebody up for me.
Right.
It's just my day-to-day care when I'm in your presence and when I'm not. You know what I mean? So, yeah, protector just, I mean, I guess it depends on your definition, but it just doesn't always mean, aggressiveness, fight, all that. Right. It's just the care of me, the well-being of me overall.
Right. So what would be the difference between a man, just a regular man's organic nature to protect you versus like these alpha men?
Say that one more time.
What would be like the difference in you, like somebody saying, okay, I like an alpha man. What's the difference between that alpha man that we're declaring an alpha man versus a regular man that's not being categorized as an alpha man, and he has an organic nature just to protect and provide? What's the difference?
I can chime in on this one?
Yes, sir.
Like organic, I would say as like a father, raising a child. It's just organically, no.
Good example.
And I've seen some clips where it's though, like when a child is in danger and the father just reacts organically, like instantly. And you just can't train that. That just comes out within. And against the versus the alpha male is trying to become head of something, a leader, maybe the leader of the pack. Yeah. So he's more on the aggressive side, or going outward. Whereas though the organic side is just that defense mechanism.
The naturally.
That's perfect. So let's go back to the question we asked before break. If there's an alpha man that has a large platform and he's leading people to do wrong toward women, especially women in our community, what is the job of the other man? Is there a job of the other man to shut that alpha man down and to protect and provide those women that he doesn't deem, that the alpha man doesn't deem as worth or worthy of protection or being treated fairly? What is the job of the other men toward that alpha male that has sickness toward women?
Those women that I just want to talk about that specific guy we're talking about, right?
Well, it's not just him, but people like him. For example,
because he is he targets a certain type of a woman, right? Have you ever heard of this saying that you hear people say, don't save her, she don't want to be saved? The type of woman that he is targeting, right? On the other flip side of it, these women in this club that they are targeting would not normally pay these type of men no attention whatsoever. Like, these are gold digger type. This ain't like that average female. These are 10s, right?
But can I stop you for a second? Okay. Because when this man is speaking and he's talking about women. So this is a perception of whatever that man is to say, I think she's a woman like that and she's not worthy of respect. So when you're saying these type of women, this is something that has become a reality in men's mind about certain types of women, and they could be right or they could be wrong. But is it okay to treat, especially when we see our black men talking about black women, no matter what you think of them, because it could be your daughter, your sister, your mother, your aunt, and he could say, you know what, she looks really good. I think she's a 10, and I think she's not worthy of respect, and I'm going to play with her.
When I say 10s, right, I'm not just talking about, because you can have a 10 and she's a wonderful woman, right? But I'm talking about, and I'm not saying that she's deserved to get treated bad either, but I'm talking about this 10 that they're specifically going after is this gold digging 10, take everything from you, destroy you type of woman.
Break you down.
Now, I'm not saying
but he didn't say that because he also said if you're married to a woman, to also treat her this way.
Well, some people are married to gold diggers.
Yes.
Yeah.
His philosophy, right, is a bad philosophy. I never agreed with his philosophy. I believe his philosophy is a 16-year-old philosophy.
Yeah, very immature.
But I know where this stems from, like, or who he's actually targeted, actually financial, because this man don't have a problem with women. So this is a financial gain. I found a group of men, because it's a large group of men out there do not have relationships with females, right? It's statistically proven. And these men out there are crying for a man like him to lead them to the so-called promised land, which is not true because they are lonely. So since the day y'all was born, y'all have value. Since y'all was 13 years old, somebody been trying to have sex with you. Well, men, we have to earn our value.
Can I stop you for a second and say something? That doesn't seem plausible, and I'm going to tell you why. If a man is lonely, right, he's lonely, he's not going to want to just have sex with a woman and never call her back because he's lonely. So if he's targeting lonely men who want to catch women, then they would not fall to a philosophy that when I catch one that looks good, I'm going to have sex with her, I'm going to treat her terrible, and I'm never going to call her back. I'm just going to treat her like trash because they would stay lonely.
That's the philosophy.
So wait a minute. But he's targeting hurt people like himself.
That's it. Hurt people.
Is angry and he's been hurt by a woman probably in his past, and even though a man can appear and look like, oh, he's handsome, he may have money, but see, like, here's how I feel about it. That one woman or that woman that hurt him, he's still angry at the rest of the women about that, right? So now he is like on this witch hunt against women, and he's taking every man that will listen to this. To me, it's foolery.
It is foolery.
Right? And they're out here teaching men how to disrespect women. And I think that when we start saying, like, when we listen to these conversations over and over again, I don't know if it's happening in any other communities. I know it's happening in the Black community, but it's very sad that when Black men look at Black women, a lot of this philosophy is distorted against us as Black women. And the problem that I have is that, yes, Black women are hurt. Yes, Black men are hurt. But Black women are the most loving women that I know. And to me, I feel like as Black women, a lot of times Black women, we will stand behind a man who has nothing and we will help him get something. So this whole thing about most women are these gold diggers, they're this, they're that, that's not true. Most Black women that are alone are the Black women that will stand beside a man who has nothing, help him build to get something. And we have to be, ostracized and saying, like, we're angry, we're bitter, we're, masculine, we're not feminine. But I don't think that this is a fair call. I think that, in my opinion, and I'm asking the panel, I think that it's up to other men to emerge and shut this man down.
Because that's the real alpha man, the man that can stand up against the foolery, and the ridiculousness and say, that ain't right. Like, what are you doing? Right. You know what I mean? But I've never even heard of this. I don't subscribe to certain things. I really don't. Right. It's just not even in my world.
Somebody sent me this a couple years ago. And I was like,
it's been out there long.
Yeah, it's been out for a long time. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? And I do see, like, even though, like, this man came out before Kevin Samuels, right? And I think that Kevin Samuels was a little bit different. His message was a little bit different. I still didn't think that women should call in to be validated. Right. I mean, I think that, this is what I think. I think that, and then I'm gonna let the fellas weigh in. I think that each person has a type. Each person has what they find attractive, what they want to be with, and who they're looking for. And I think that when we keep saying, well, this is the type of woman, I think that varies from man to man. And I think it varies the type of man that we want from woman to woman, right? And everybody is not interested in a 6 foot tall man. Everybody's not interested in a light-skinned guy or a dark-skinned guy or a short guy or a fat guy or a skinny guy. People like different varieties, right? And so that's my opinion. I would like the guys to weigh in on some of the stuff that we said. If you have any opinions at all.
Who's up first?
Okay. What's your question? So we talked about a lot of stuff. So we talked about the alpha men who are self-proclaiming themselves to be alpha men and are teaching this kind of philosophy. Is it the job of other men to stand up and say, this is not correct? Like, or continue to let this platform keep rolling? Because there's a whole platform, I feel like there's a witch hunt out there about, I mean, I take it personal as a Black woman, but I feel like it's a whole, like, if you go on, like, TikTok, if you go on YouTube, social media, when they talk about these relationships, it's like the women are so, to me, like, demeaned.
So are we saying who owns the responsibility?
Yes.
Okay. So my first thought, excuse me, Nikki, is back to what you said. I think it was last show or show before that about the sisterhood, right? Because I mean, I get it. The other alpha group of men see this, you know, foolishness taking place. But as a sisterhood, like if we are rejecting what this idiot is doing, he can't do it anymore. Somehow, some way along the line, is going to be able to check himself because he's not getting that bait that he's looking for.
Right.
So I would say that other group of alpha male, they don't own that. I think the women, we have to own that. We have to take that.
I think that women should take responsibility, but again, that leaves us unprotected. Whereas what men are going to stand up and say
it is the men's responsibility. But then too, Shanae, as a woman, like if they're literally plotting on you, you don't know initially that this is going on. You don't know that this is happening. Right. So by the time it happened, you could have already been intimate with them. You could have already given your time, your whatever, and then you don't know that they've adopted that ideology.
But it go back to the sisterhood, right? So let's just use me for example. You and I, if I'm dating this guy and I'm saying like, we went, we got intimate, this, that, and the third, and I'm telling you stories and you hearing red flags, right? As my girlfriend, you should probably say, girl, you might want to look out for that because that don't seem right? So that's where the sisterhood come in. So that's my thought process. And my second thought process is, where's the mothers and the aunts in this little girl, this female's life? Because I know if my daughter tell me that this guy never brought her flowers and never told her she was beautiful, that's a conversation me and my daughter's going to have. Mm-hmm. So
it's stem from value. It's like
does.
If we value, the issue is that most of the time women don't know what men value, and they believe that men value what they think they should value, and men have their own things that they value. They value feminine, submissive, beautiful, cooperative. That's what they value. You can't change the programming. That's what we value. So if it's something like that, we're going to value it. We're going to protect it, right? Because we feel like it's something worthy of protection. But if she's loud and she's like, I'm my own, we feel like.
But I don't think this group of men fit into that. They sound like They sound like a sick, immature, hurt group of men.
From another situation. There's 80% of women mess with 20% of men. So you got a group of men out there that is not getting response. They go to the club, they stand on the side of the wall, they send 1,000 DMs, they never even get a reply back from one of them.
Can we flip this around too? Because I know that you've talked about like in our community, like Black women are delusional about like the men that they can get, but are Black men delusional? So like in the same instance, if you're saying, and I don't agree with the numbers, but if you're saying that 80% of the women are going after 20% of the men, right?
That's significant.
That's significant, but let's just say that is true. Are 80% of the men going after 20% of the women?
No,
I don't know.
Because men know where they play. These men here, we can look at each other and know pretty much where we fit in the food chain. Men find out this quick. They figured out, they even did shows on it to show if you was to put us on an island, we pretty much figure out who's the toughest, who's the smartest real quick, and we, yes sir, we made like that, so we departmentalize, okay, she above, even me, she a little bit above my, where I need to be shopping at the moment. We're not delusional to think that I need to get this girl, I can't even afford to get her nails done. I can't even take her to this place.
So why are they alone?
What?
Because if you're saying
no, I'm talking about he can't. These can't even get.
Well, so what I'm saying is
the force.
So go back to the 80% of women mess with 20% of the men. Yes. Right. So the other 80% of men are lonely. Right. So those 80% of men, what are they doing?
Jerking off.
So you're saying that so you're saying that 80% of men are not shooting their shot at any woman at all.
No, not that they're not shooting their shot. It's that women, when you have
are they shooting their shot too high? That's the question I'm asking.
No, it makes no difference.
So they have common sense, but women don't. So the men are realistic. So what you're saying, women, is that the
women
men
are born with value. So that means that if it's let's say a 300-pound woman, right, it's still going to be heavily wanted, but a don't have nothing man. When your girlfriend asked you, like, if they was to ask me, I'll say, man, I just got with this girl. They gonna say, what does she look like? Right. If your girlfriend asks, hey, I just got with this guy, what does he do?
Yeah. No.
I'm not talking about the exception. I'm talking about the rule, right? It is exceptions. There's people that say, well, I don't want no man just because he got blah, blah, blah. But you are an exception. You know, a woman by nature wants a man that can provide. She was made like that.
But you're saying that 80% of the men out here don't have a job, and they're not.
He didn't say he didn't have a job.
They're not able to provide. So what?
No, he didn't say not provide. He said getting 20%.
80% of the women out here. See, women. When they did this other check, they saw that women, when they swipe, you know, on a date apps, men 50% of the time they always swiping. I like her. I like her. I like her. But when women swipe, they are very picky. They was made that way because they had to be very careful because they was passing on a legacy. So they had to be very careful on what man they pick. Women are very selective. Men are not as selective because we was programmed different than y'all. We get 100 million sperm cells a day. Y'all get 1 egg a month. So it's a biological difference in us. So y'all are very selective. I want this type of man. He needs to have this. He needs to deal with me a certain type of way. Blah, blah. A man is, you know, and depending on the level he's at or the access he's at, that's what opens us more. So that 80% of men are desperate. You check your DMs. You'll find out that I'm not lying. It's like they're in your DMs. Oh, that's right. Y'all ain't never seen them. That's the thing. You don't pay no attention to those men.
That's not true.
Well, I
mean, know if the guys out here agree. You guys agree with what he's saying?
Like the other 80% of men who not getting girls, they understand that, you know, one way they can is if they can increase their financial situation.
Exactly.
So
I do agree, yes.
Is out here trying to find ways to bring in more income because regardless of the women that's the exception, if you got money, you're going to get girls.
Yeah.
Bottom line. So that's one way that they can automatically already know that they're going to get some females.
Money.
Right. But all of these situations seem like situations that doesn't have substance to it, right? They are not, you know.
But I mean,
if you're just
this is the majority.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say,
If you make 6 figures, you can find you a woman.
Period.
A woman, but what is the reality of that situation? What's the foundation of it?
What you mean the foundation?
But he can get his options.
You can get her, but does it have sustainability? Does it have value, like real value, and a foundation to it?
You can invest in women because you can pick.
Just because you pick, you can pick the most beautiful, the most this, the most that. But does that mean
he's saying that you can? So I mean, I had.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, you talking more like a value. They're talking more like the materialistic.
Yeah, surface. It doesn't have depth to it.
It's the women. It's women's psychology.
When you start provide materialistically, she's looking at more like what value do we bring mentally, physically,
other
like a woman.
like a woman.
we think when we see somebody, they did a test, 25 to 70 years old. 25 to 70 years old. They said, when do you find women the most attractive? This is 25 to 70 years old. They all said 23 to 25.
What?
Period.
But
wait a minute. Let me explain. Now, this is when they find them the most attractive 14. Because the way a man
I'm going to a whole nother direction.
The way a man's brains function, right? He sees a woman, he's totally visual. Mm-hmm. So he sees a woman and he say, I want her. then what comes out her mouth. If respect comes after that, if submission and cooperation comes after that, then he says, yeah, I can really hold on to this. But from sight, he's sight. Woman is more looking at, even not that she don't look at sight, but she's looking at some deeper qualities, because biologically, she has to make sure her child is secure. Can't have this no knucklehead because he looks good. I got to make sure my seed is secure. We just different.
So, can I ask you guys, do you all want a woman that's very submissive?
Submissive?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What about you? What about you? Cooperative.
Submissive and cooperative.
Cooperative.
A negative thing?
No, I was just asking. So, what's the difference between cooperative and submissive?
It's levels. You don't want just
you want
limbo, just doing whatever you say you do.
You said super submissive.
Okay.
I don't think that's submissive. She just.
Why your face light up like that when we said submissive?
That's essentially
Like a step.
Okay.
I don't think people know the definition.
Oh, yeah. O has an opinion. That's
I want to say one thing.
sure.
You know, they say God is love.
Right.
Love is God.
Mm-hmm.
To save your life, you gotta always put life before yourself. If you ain't got life, I guarantee, I don't care what money, cars, a mansion, I don't care what kind of job you got, car, 5 cars, a big mansion, the lifestyle you have, better put life.
God.
Love before your life, before anything you got. I'm telling you, without love, it will be a struggle.
I agree. I agree.
Very
You
good.
can't always get what you, because you got money and flowers.
Yeah, that stuff goes away. That stuff, yeah.
Looking all sexy and all that, love comes before.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's
right.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get.
Well,
at.
that's what you're.
I don't understand the low level thinking of this whole process. You know
Right.
what?
How important is
I'm a female.
Okay. How important is love to the guys in the audience?
I agree right there.
How important is love to the guys in the audience?
Do you
Isn't that the goal?
Do y'all just want a woman to respect y'all, or y'all just want it's you want okay.
Love come
loyalty.
after loyalty.
Yeah, that probably you be loyal.
But if you love
What about
somebody, isn't
respect?
loyalty just like a?
Respect. What about
Yeah.
respect?
When you have love, you have loyalty and respect.
I feel like all of that falls under love, because if you love a person,
God put love at number
yeah,
one.
love is number
Right.
one, boo.
You love yourself.
No,
It has to be.
No, I think respect is different than love. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, I can love you, but don't have no respect for you. Like, I can love you as a person. No, it can be. Like, I can love you.
That's your own perception of you calling it love. That's not.
I mean, well, we can talk about God's love, and then we can talk about
Yeah.
this society type love. But I can love a person and not respect them. Like, and that's on God. Like, that's the God's honest truth for me. Like, I can say, hey, I love you, but I don't like some of your ways. I have no respect for you as a human being, but I will love you, and don't want to see anything harm to come, upon you.
I can agree
So,
with that. I think
yeah.
you can't love with someone without respecting them. Like, you can, because you can lose respect for a person.
But we're talking
Like
about
that
in a
person in the
relationship.
deal, like in the
But we're
deal,
talking
like-
about in a relationship. You're not
you can
going to
lose
be in a
respect for them.
relationship with somebody, love them, but not have a certain level and continue
you
the
can lose,
relationship.
yes,
you
you
can
can
lose
lose
it.
it.
Yeah, you can lose
You want to
it.
say
The
that?
definition of submission?
Yes.
But that goes back to the question you raised in the first part of the show.
Yes.
You don't say something at the table. Now you done lost respect for him, but you love
Well,
him.
I can, well,
Well,
respect.
y'all just dating. We don't know if we love yet. That's just
Respect
dating.
in that aspect.
Uh-huh.
Respect in that aspect.
Okay.
It depends on what type of respect I'm losing for you. I can lose the respect to say, because everybody's not a fighter, okay? But, and I wouldn't break it with somebody because they're not a fighter. Just keep it real. You're not a fighter, right? So I'm going to know what to expect from him. But I can still love him. Now, if he's disrespectful to me, or if he shows me no respect in a lot of other ways, or he's not earning my respect in other ways, then yes, I can love you and say, you know what, I love you, but I don't respect you enough to be with you, right? So this is levels of respect.
So going back to what the show you were talking about, I think that just sitting here thinking, as women, and when you talk about men, what responsibility do they have? I think then women, we, like Shanae was saying, like your aunties and different things, we should teach our women to have respect for men. So even though we know that even when you have like your own sons and we teach them that they have to be providers and they have to go out and earn because certain women are going to want you. So you teach them all these things. But what about teaching our women not to be out here using men, because there's so many hurt men out here that they get used by these men. They're like, okay, they know that you like them, but you really don't have any interest in them. So you continue to go out, spend their money, eat dinner, do all these things, have no intention to have sexual relations, but you'll go on vacations and do everything with this man. With that man. So won't we just start there with our own women too? And then won't we say, then hey, then men do have a responsibility as well. I mean, kind of brought me to like the Lion King. I don't want to be childish, but like Scar was that alpha man in his own type of way, where he was, he didn't care about the pride, the whole land or whatever. So he killed Mufasa. So then he turned into a leader. And so then we have to have a man that comes back that says, hey, I am a leader, and I am going to say, hey, listen, this is what we need to go back to so that we can all function and to live together in the Black community. So I really do think that when we talk about it, we do need strong men. We need alpha men that say, hey, listen, a good alpha man versus the bad alpha man that's telling you to treat women. But I also say that men get tired of being used and played and, not having that type of love and respect. And they're out here trying. Not every man is going to make six figures and things of that nature. So the guys that are just making $40,000, $50,000 a year, we're spending our time with them because we're lonely at the time, just to go out to dinner and just to. But won't we just say, hey, listen, if you really don't have no interest in them, stop using this man, stop doing that. And then we wouldn't have men saying, oh, this woman is just a gold digger. She just wants this, and she just wants me to use him. I have had like our cousin. He said, oh, he went out to dinner with this girl and, they had a nice time. Next thing he knows, she trying to play him for, oh, I'm getting ready to get an eviction, like, hey, listen, can you send me some money? But if we teach our women that is not what you're supposed to do because you feel as though that you ran into a nice guy and now we're going to try to suck him down for his money and, play this role, then maybe we wouldn't have all this dysfunction in the Black community. So
I agree with that. But I also want to say that I think there's a lot of hurt from the men and a lot of hurt from the women. The problem that I have is when women, we're emotional beings for the most part. So when a man is purposely, leading a woman on, or purposely having no intention of, like, his only intention is to kind of like hurt her. That is what I'm talking about with these alpha men.
So when we talk about staying in value for us, because a man can't hurt us. I
agree with that, but we have a lot of, so I agree.
So a man doesn't treat you right, why do you continue to?
But I think that in our age, we have that foundation. So like we have that foundation,
and experience and things of that nature.
Years old. But the girls that are coming up now, what they have was being shown to them a lot in our community is, not really, women are not really showing them how to be women. And the truth is, everybody wants love, whether they want to admit it or not. So when these women are going out and they're dating these men, they may be trying to use their body, or maybe trying to, they want that man. Even if they're being a gold digger, they want that man. They want to still catch and hook that guy, right? And that guy is thinking, I don't want this. Well, not all the time, right? But I'm talking about if there's a woman and she's going after a guy and she's thinking, I like him, I'm going to, try to be with him. I'm not saying that everybody that sleeps with somebody is trying to be with you, but I am saying that a lot of times women are emotional and they do get emotionally attached to men. And then these men are purposely having no intention on being with these women at all. And I think that like for our younger generation, because at this age, all of us know, like if we go out on a date with somebody and that person doesn't open the door, that person is like not even complimenting you, that person is like, if you see these red flags at our age, like we know, right? Like we know. But I'm talking about younger women coming up, and what's being pushed out there now is not really so much affecting us or older gentlemen that have some kind of foundation of what a man should be, but it's affecting the younger generations. And that's why I'm saying that it really needs to be stopped, because it's like I look at life and I say, everybody grew up here. We have some kind of, most people went to church at some point. Their grandmother took them, somebody took them in some season in their life to church. So you have some foundation of God, some self-love. A lot of people nowadays, they're growing up and like the social media is raising them, the media is raising them, their friends are raising them. They have no real
guidance.
So I'm saying it to say, like, I feel like yes, if those men have that platform, it's not just the older guys that are listening, it's younger guys that are listening too.
That's very impressionable. They don't have the experience or that foundation to know. But to your point, true, the females, everyone doesn't have that wonderful supportive guidance. You know, people are growing up in broken families, parents on drugs, you know, things of that nature. So you're right, social media, the music, what they're seeing on television is all playing a part, you know, and how they're operating with men. They don't have a straight and forth direction on that.
And I think a lot of women are out, especially young women are out, and they're having sex with these men, and they're thinking that, you know, I'm gonna have sex with them. I look the good. I look the best. I got the best body, and they're thinking this because that's what's being valued. So if you have a 10 at the club, right, and the man is like buying tables or he's buying drinks and he's doing whatever, and she's thinking, oh, you know what? He thinks I'm beautiful. He likes me. Right. And that man is just thinking she's a gold digger. Right. But she's trying to get in where she, you know, where she fits in. And I'm just saying, like, she's probably thinking she has a shot at that guy. Right. Because nobody's really teaching her like self-value and not having sex with these men and so forth. I'm just saying, when you have that kind of generation growing up and coming up, you have a lot of heartbroken people, because the men, like Nikki said, again, they're being used. Right. And the women are being used because there's no trust. There's nobody saying, I'm liking you for more than your body. I'm liking you for more than what you're, because how do they know this woman is submissive? They're not getting a relationship with this woman.
Well, I don't think they're going to the club to meet a woman that they're, look, I mean, it happens, it's an exception to the rule. But, you know, if you're talking about people at the club and things of that nature, I don't think a man really honestly goes to the club and like, oh, I'm going to go in here and get my wife. So if you're going in there and that's what your hopes are, I mean, no, I mean, not really. I mean, I've known like an exception to the rule, but most men, I even had a conversation the other day, like you said, I get dressed to go to the club to have sex with women. Like, who can I catch at nighttime that's going to be willing for me to bring back to my home? Now, hey, and that's the reality. Most women think it's fun. Oh, we go out here, I get my ego stroked, you know, these men are on to me, chasing me, but really deep down inside, the man really does not respect you on that same type of level. So, yes.
I do. I mean, I agree. I know we have to wrap up this show, but I think that, you know, moving forward, like, women have to really value themselves. And if, as Shanae was saying, like, if the women value themselves and really value themselves, they won't allow men to just sleep with them. And, you know, they won't get themselves in those emotional situations. And if men are really valuing themselves, they won't lead with money, you know, and they will. I think that people have to really get back to some kind of foundation. Yeah. And one point I want to make real quick before we end the show is that in a lot of other countries, you know, we have to really get back. I know people have come away from God and stuff, but in America, people, you know, Americans, Christians, you know, we dress, you know, we can be very provocative, very sexy. But in other countries, the women's bodies are covered up. And you don't have all of this hurt and brokenness. You might not be happy with the guy that you get with or the wife that you get with, but you don't have all of this so much hurt because everybody's looking at beauty or everybody's looking at what the man has as money, you know. So I don't know. I don't know how.
I don't agree with that though, T. I don't agree with that. Okay. With other countries, because you have a lot of women that are abusive and they are covered up. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just that those alpha men are controlling those women. So I don't agree with that in many of those countries.
Well, maybe not in certain countries when the government is involved, but when people are willingly participating in religions, right? Like when people are willingly participating and they're covering their bodies and stuff up, you don't have all of that going on because people are looking to actually build with your mindset.
Yeah, it's not so much temptation that's driving the decision making, right?
But as far as political and the government and all of that, I do agree with that. But when people are willingly saying, I'm going to find a mate, I'm going to cover my body, I'm going to do certain things. So I do think it's on both parties. But we want to thank all of our males for coming today, and we value all of your opinions, and we thank you so much. And we'll be back next Sunday at 5 if she's not trendy.